The extended time?
Yeah, 10 o'clock. You on there?
Oh, okay. Let me share the one time.
We built this city on rock and roll. Let me put on the although I have on the Wi-Fi, let me put my data still. Good. Right.
Right, so the castle in the dark.
Right. Pleasant. Carol, Melba, everybody. 8 persons on the live.
Mm-hmm.
She followed it so. Right.
Yeah. Lady, lady.
Is it?
Yeah, lady, lady.
Yeah, but this is enough for you. Watch. They go there? Oh, what is this? Beverly, Yvette, Simone, Valerie. Why we get in now?
Nah, there you come on. On the phone. There you come on the phone. But the light them good. Them picking, them seeming nice. Yeah, all are good.
13 persons on the live. Share the live and let's get started. Ja David, how you doing? Me send back a wave. Okay, so as we wait for the live to build, let me just tell you briefly. Devon, pleasant good night.
Good night.
Right.
You're
taking the lead tonight, eh?
I think
because my belly kind of full and see, and I'll drink a whole bowl of soup. So my belly feeling kind of full here right now.
Which one? The FUL?
Good night, Juliet and Devon. Good night.
Hey.
So Devon, let's get started now. We have 19 to build.
Alright, well, good night, Trinidad and Tobago, and we told you all that we're going to keep the fire burning.
Yes.
And we're going to keep the fire burning.
Leading up to the
27th
of September.
Not July the 27th, September the 27th. Which is so significant because that will be the day where the judge will be hearing the submission from the Police Service Commission on Gary Griffith. So, no, the Police Service Commission will be putting in their defense into the matter at hand. So we will get to hear what is happening. But so happened that today a Queen's Counsel lawyer was also hired, I think, on the government. Ralston. Right. And
to give advice to the government.
Right. And what did the government, and what was it?
Ralston basically said the same thing that Anand Ramlogan, SC, said in his matter as well as the attorney for Ravi Bhargobin, who is asking the court for the Police Service Commission to rescind the appointment of acting commissioner Gary Griffith. So he basically said that it was unconstitutional.
Yeah.
Same thing that Anand Ramlogan had said.
So, what motorcade is going to be taking place tomorrow when a man of Anand Ramlogan's stature is telling him that the appointment
is unconstitutional? Now, what we have to look at, Devon, that is a very good point. What we have to look at coming out of this this issue, this matter, two sides. One, the acting commissioner of police, he has retained a very powerful constitutional attorney in that of Ramesh Lawrence Maraj. But at the same time, equal to Mr. Ramlogan, who is very versed in constitutional matters as well. And of course, we have Anand Ramlogan saying that it is unconstitutional. However, Gary's, it would be interesting to know what, because they quoted the Constitution, the government advisor Ralston and Anand Ramlogan. So it really would be interesting to hear what Ramesh, Lawrence, Mirage, and
Well, what would
Lara-
be their application in the court?
in the whole matter, yes.
Because really and truly, when you look at it, really and truly, Juliet, one has to ask yourself the question, would they be basing their thing on the acting position? Because it can't be the substantive position, because the substantive position is that his contract was up and all we
And in
was
order
supposed
for him to get the reappointment, it had to go to the
relevant
it
sections.
had to follow due process,
Yes.
which was Parliament and what have you.
Yes.
Right?
So
when
either
Mr.
with
Hines-
President, then Parliament, no, then Cabinet, then Parliament,
Right.
and then for the approval.
Right. So then, when Minister Hines, National Security Minister, said that Gary is a civilian,
He was right.
he was actually correct.
He was correct because
Yeah.
after the 17th, you should not have been sitting in that
Yes.
in that chair.
Yes.
And then on top of it, you asking for. And first, let me tell you something, Juliet. When you really follow this thing properly, it's no. I'm not going to cast an aspersion, but you are seeing a level of smartmanism.
Cunningness.
Cunning.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to give him the cunningism.
Yes.
We got to upgrade the word now because how could you?
But if I looking bad without makeup, nice and smooth my face is.
Then when you have lights on.
Is this Gary jealous of you know?
Yeah.
Hey. Carry on, carry on. Carry
No, but-
on, baby. Carry on, carry on, carry
Now
on.
you want to sing now because lights are
Wind it up, wind it up, wind it up.
But yes, man.
Devon.
No, I can't say. No, but when you look at it, you are seeing a level of smartmanism taking place here. If your contract is up, Juliet, and you know for a fact that your contract is coming to an end on a particular day,
And you know for a fact that your contract stated that your leave is supposed to be taken within
In your
the frame
contract.
of the contract.
what would you do? Not abide by what your contract states.
Right.
And when that time comes, you exit the chair and you go.
That is why yesterday, Devon, we would have said to the people, the viewers, that it appears that this was premeditated.
Of course it was
Thank you.
premeditated. Because let me tell you why it was premeditated. And this is why, you see, lawyers will try to put together a case, a prima facie case, and then send it to the...
Offer BS. Offer BS.
Yes.
Offer BS.
Because let me tell you why. When you know for a fact that your contract coming to an end, you knew for a fact that there's no acting because you never applied for the deputy position.
But he's an actor, you know. He have played the role of an actor.
Right.
All of the 3 years that he was commissioner of police.
Yes, he have
Right.
been acting.
Right.
He's good at acting.
Yeah, he good at acting.
No, but you know for a fact that you did not apply for that position. So if it is that your substantive position has now come to an end, why would you lower your self-esteem in the eyes of the public and demote
And take
yourself
a demotion.
and take a demotion
Thank you.
automatically
Thank you.
into an acting position?
Thank you very much.
Who in the right mind does
Yes.
that?
Yes.
If I am so you know
So there has to be a means to an end or an ends to a means.
yes. So what they're trying to tell me, Raul is the Prime Minister. He time comes to an end, but he all of a sudden take acting
Acting Prime Minister.
acting Prime Minister. What kind of foolishness is this? And then you know, would it be amazing to with it, eh?
And let me tell you, viewers, Devon, Anand Ram Logan ain't going and jump out with Ravi Bab, and considering he already have a matter with
David West and
with members of that whole criminal justice,
Yes.
the PCA, witness Gary Griffith and what have you.
Yes.
Anand Ram Logan ain't jump out just so.
No.
And I'm not going to jump out if he know.
Thank you.
If he know that the constitution would have allowed it, so people only be smart na man.
But not
Only think and understand what it is going down here.
but just to show you how smart Anand Ram Logan is compared to the rest of them. Anand Ram Logan did the right thing in terms of going in an industrial relation order and finding out what was the terms of reference with the man's contract.
Devon we is lay people.
No.
Devon we is lay people.
Well, remember the man said we's bush lawyers, so
we is lay people.
Yeah, we's lay people. So if it is,
you're going good. You're going good.
No, but if it is that Anand Ram Logan took the position of the industrial relation to find out first what is the man's contract.
Remember, I did ask on this very same live, as on the first night,
yes,
if this is not an industrial relations matter, something for the industrial court.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And
okay,
up to now, we can see where the industrial relation is. But just to show you how again, so you have to take it from all angles in the political realm now. Because we now move from we're going into a matrix, in a political matrix world. So here it is. Anand Ram Logan is involved in a matter with David West,
who is the head of the PCA.
The PCA. And Gary Griffith, because witness and all these different things in the matter.
Right.
Now, Gary Griffith is seeking to get back inside as commissioner of this whole scenario. So if he get back inside there, don't you think, no, I'm not casting let me put it out there. This is what we call fair comment, and this is what we call
critical thinking. Yes.
And this is no way to influence any outcome of anything.
Yes.
But we are reporters, and we are therefore to have to find out, as Robert Amada said, the truth.
No, we have to educate and inform the people as well.
But also find out the truth behind the scenario that is playing out in the public domain.
Yes.
So here it is. Anand Ram Logan has a matter that is going on between the PCA chairman and Gary Griffith. So all three of them embroiled in a matter.
And remember, keep it trying to thought, remember Gary Griffith
about the investigation. Them same Gary Griffith was also asking about a particular investigation when David West would have made certain allegations and said that he was investigating certain matters. Don't you think, let me be realistic, now we have to think into the minds of how these people will think, Don't you not think that Anand Ram Logan will realize that, wait now, but if he get back inside there, he will look to save himself and throw me under the bus the same way he throwing the police under the bus too? And next thing you're hearing, I in handcuffs, and he's saying down there as the commissioner of police, and David West is the man who's going to be charging me, because he will bring the charges for the police to come and lock me up at the end of the day. Don't you not think that that is all up?
So this thing here convoluted.
It is convoluted. That is why you see, Anand Ram Logan would have gone to a constitutional part of it to find out, wait now, let me check and make sure that this man cannot be the police commissioner again. Because if he becomes the police commissioner and with the attitude and behavior that he's carrying on, one has to be careful, because he is telling David West, I want to see all the people, all the police officers, or all the investigation that are being conducted.
But not only that, example, remember when he was running the motor mouth the other day, he said to the effect about perhaps the police and them framing citizens
in this country.
He said what he said, when I get back
into office,
I will go to the PCA and ask for the files of XYZ, whatever.
Exactly. So he has
everything.
motives.
He has everything already planned out.
Yes. So that is why
it appears, It appears.
We just
analyzing based on what is all out there in the public
domain.
Yeah, and put out there by the very same Gary Griffith, because you know this run too much.
And when you look at it now, so you attack all the institutions, and a man who was a former attorney general now goes and find out whether or not, if this thing is an industrial relation matter, sees that it is unconstitutional for you to be coming forward with this thing. He now puts, and now the senior counsel who the government has also hired to
Retained
look into the matter,
Ralston, yes.
has now stated that it is in fact correct.
Yeah, he's in
it
fact
is
correct.
unconstitutional.
Yes.
And if it is unconstitutional, that would mean that the man is really a civilian.
Yes.
And a civilian cannot be holding the post of deputy commissioner. And therefore, if he was holding the post of deputy police commissioner, that would have been a breach of the police service to have a civilian holding down this position without being sworn in as a SRP.
Now, today, I hear you with that, but I'm just putting this slant on it and probably you will guide me. Today, I saw on social media a video
Yes.
with Gary Griffith. And he was trying to raise the issue of former Commissioner of Police Stephen Williams and likening his situation to that of Stephen Williams, who acted on six occasions.
Right.
Right. And I also saw my good friend Kurt Sinnett, boxer, would have also put up a post talking about the acting appointment of Griffith. And I had to point out to him, Griffith cannot liken himself to
Stephen Williams.
Williams.
He can't.
Williams is a full-fledged police officer.
Yeah, he's not cartoon police. You know that cartoon police?
Yeah.
Because
Now people is just to make the thing light and to laugh a little bit. In no way be saying that we're trying to degrade people who are SRP and whatever the case may be. We're just getting a little kicks.
Yeah.
Right, but go ahead.
No, but the thing about it is that plenty of these people not understanding the whole thing about it, and they're going on emotion. Now, emotions is what is get people in trouble. And that is what plenty of these people who say, I support Gary can beat me, he can do my way he want, he can cost me.
Yeah, I don't care about the attitude.
I don't care about the attitude, but I still supporting him. And when you say these things, what you actually doing is giving power
to a number of other things.
Exactly.
Similar to that, you're giving power to domestic violence. You're giving power to rape.
Yes.
You're giving power to verbal abuse.
Yes.
A number of things you're giving power to.
So when you do check it out, if the senior counsel who the government has hired has come forward and stated that is unconstitutional, then what again or you want to hear? So what is going to be happening now? Let me tell you what is going to play out in the High Court now. Now, first to tell you, if you are having an industrial relation matter, it must be heard in the industrial court. You cannot have an industrial relation matter being heard in the High Court before it being heard in the industrial relation court, because this is an industrial relation procedure and issue. But what they are going to the High Court to do is file an injunction to see whether or not if they get put back in a non-police officer who has been stripped of his SRP status, to put him in a chair where he can now say that he is the acting police commissioner. On what grounds, I don't know. Now if it is that Monday the court rules in favor and puts him back in the chair, we're just giving the juxtapose of what may transpire. If the court rules in favor and says, well, okay, there was a breach and because of certain little errors, he must go back in the chair. But go back in the chair on what grounds? And this is now where there's going to be another tangle web that will be taking place, because the High Court will now have to tell Gary that, Gary, look, this matter has to go before the industrial court and then come back to me. It has to go to the industrial court and then come back to me. So you have to go to the industrial court for the industrial court to sort out your issue with why you're not in the chair and then come back to me.
Right. So then somebody was talking about grandstanding. I don't know if it was you.
Well, no.
Somebody was talking about, yes, I think it was you, me, and you was traveling sometime.
Oh, talking about the grand charging.
And grand charging, grandstanding, wherever the case may be, right? Given what you have said and what we understand the thing to be, right? Having read all the facts played out by a number of legal minds and what have you, it is safe to say And not forgetting tomorrow's event.
Tomorrow event.
Right.
Yeah.
Which adds a political slant to
again.
To more political slant, mainly on the accuser's side.
Yes.
Gary Griffith's side. So it is safe to say that the court is being used as a conduit.
Yes. Yes. The court is being used as a conduit.
Can we accept things like this?
Well, it has been going on for a number of years.
It went on with Gladiator.
Yes, it has been going on for a number of years.
It went on with Gladiator. Gladiator used the cause as a conduit for get-rich schemes. Yes. He sued a number of persons, and I don't know, something about the court. It is kind of gullible. I don't know if it's because of how it is structured. But,
that is the problem.
But women could just simply walk off the pavement, go to a court and say, this man beaten me. It don't have to be true.
No, it don't.
This man raped me, and I want a restraining order. The courts grant them. I find the court too gullible in some ways.
No, well,
and this instance here with Gary is another way in which we are saying that same way the court is kind of gullible, because look how it can be used as a conduit. Because if you are a commissioner of police, listen to me carefully. You are commissioner of police. You genuinely love your job and you really want to go back there because you really want to solve crime. What it is you have Philip Alexander and them keeping rally
motorcade
and motorcade and adding political mix-up in the whole affair for? Because remember, Philip Alexander has said over and over that Gary Griffith is his personal friend.
Yes.
And we have seen where Gary Griffith has shown, and we have seen where Gary Griffith has shown special favors to Philip Alexander.
Yes.
Right? So, I am saying, and Philip is part of the opposition forces that wants to topple, not just get into power, but to move the government before the constitutional
5-year
term. Right? Gary Griffith's action now is now falling into that.
Yes.
Into that play. And to me, it very well might be that Gary knows he does not have a case.
No.
But for future reference, he is using the opportunity to build a fan base.
Build a fan base. Build a political base.
Right. / political base in which he will move over to when this is finished. Because it was done with the Andrea Barrett matter, eh?
Yes. And
when he allowed the candlelight vigil, eh? Yes. Right? When he allowed the candlelight vigil, that was for him to whip up some support for the upcoming end of his contract and hope that it will give him
a political stand in the
selection of commissioner again.
Yes.
Right? So we are seeing where our judicial system
is going to be
gullible and is being used. It is being used as a conduit for people for people's own personal aggrandizement.
Yes. Yes.
And that is so wrong.
Well, you see, let me tell you, and one of the things that I realized that the court is lacking, Juliet, the court is lacking is that sometimes people will say something and the court will look at it because in their own interpretation of what somebody say, and they don't look at it from the common man's perspective.
Okay.
They don't look at it from the spirit of or what it would have not mean in what the person would have put it to mean. So it's like, okay, you see, I don't want to go back to the past, but it's like somebody will say, you're riding my back. But riding your back does not mean...
Thank you. That doesn't mean balaman.
No, it doesn't
mean balaman.
It doesn't mean homosexuality.
That is very vague. It can be interpreted to mean anything. That doesn't mean homosexuality.
No. Because if it is that I say that you're riding my back to get to the top.
Yeah.
I didn't call you anything of homosexuality.
It amongst the same piggybacking.
Yeah, exactly. You're trying to piggyback off of what I am doing to get on the top. So if I bring out the idea, you taking my idea and you running with the idea. Because why? You ride behind me. So you're riding my back in order to get
to know. And yes, and when I get to know, you use the opportunity to go before me and benefit from it.
So a lot of things is being put in the public domain And sometimes these judges and them are out of sync.
Yes, they're out of sync with
society
yes.
and the changes in society.
Yes, yes,
and
yes.
that is why sometimes these fellas and them will come because there's Queen Council or SC or this one, and then they put forward a case and they perceive they put it in the mind of the judge and make it worse. Now there are some judges who are biases,
yeah.
And if it is that judge don't like your head or tell yourself, well, you are against them, or you
or against a certain
type of people or something, the judge will rule against you.
Yes.
And we have seen that in a number of cases in Trinidad and Tobago. Until people, and they can't tell my lie, because a number of times we will have seen a particular judge who certain lawyers has run to get their matters being heard, and then when they do hear the show, when they go before the appeal court, they had to throw the matter. And that has been, it has been thrown out. Because at the end of the day, this what is taking place here is only to show people, oh, the big wigs and them come out, and the this and the that, and look who
but the real people, look the real, this is the real deal. Like, cannot get it better than this.
Can't get better than this.
You cannot get better than this, is what we telling you here. From the ground, from the ordinary folks who understand it. You see, we must not give them the impression that because we are laymen and we don't have letters to our names, that we don't understand it and we cannot articulate the views so that the man on the ground will be able to understand it. That's why we're doing this. Because we know most of the times the man on the ground, and that's why a lot of them running about and we support Gary, you know. Because not already nobody on the ground articulating it for them. No, they have to go by what
somebody tell them, and the big wigs
tell them. You understand?
So if the big wigs come on, you hear what he one say, you hear what this one say, and you hear the other one.
And you cannot analyze it for yourself.
And well, if this one say, you gotta take it as gospel truth.
That's correct.
And tell the kind of foolishness that is going in this country. Because when some of them big wigs were serving under certain governments, weren't they not making the same mistakes? Weren't they not doing the same sort of stupidness? And who did we see was prosecuted? We only saw 9 men, well, 10 men prosecuted, murdered by they were hanged by the state under one man.
That was Ramesh?
That Ramesh Maraj. You understand? And when you do hear the rest of the matter,
when you go deep down in the matter, you understand that the reason why those 10 men were hanged is because certain people names and certain people involved and certain people want to hush up so, and that's how the thing just go down.
And that is why we are saying that do not lose hope in Fitzgerald Hines.
Amen.
Because at the end of the day, Fitzgerald Hines knows exactly what he is saying. He knows exactly. Now I just tell people straight up, Hines is not my favorite guy. You understand? He has made certain errors. But when you listen to when he goes into his legal jargons and his legal profession, he knows exactly what he is saying. And if he's telling you all that the man is a civilian, then understand what he's saying. The contract has come to an end. The 17th, pack your bags and go.
Simple.
Don't want to sit down
always set up bacchanal and make a set up bacchanal and bring all these institutions and bring people's office into disrepute. All going by the president. All they want the president to say this. Look at this issue here. I really make no apology for saying this. But I stand with the blessed woman.
Yes.
Because to my mind, based on what I seen, somebody undermined somebody on the Police Service Commission, undermine the woman.
Yes.
Undermine the board.
Yes.
Or the committee or whatever they call them.
They misinformed them. Willfully. They willfully misinformed them. And when you willfully do these things, Juliet, what you then cause the organization to do is make some little errors.
Blunders.
And they make the little blunders. And thank God, we had Fitzgerald Hines, who is a former police officer, who is a lawyer.
Who's a long-standing parliamentarian. So he understands and understands what is taking place and what is to be done.
So those who chastising the man, which one do you want? Barabbas?
Or Christ?
Or Christ. But in this case, if you want Gary over Hines, then I had to put it in that direction. Because at the end of the day, if Hines is telling you and informing you and educating you that the man called he, because that is what Gary did, he called Hines. And
he went to the Police Service Commission.
No, he went there, but he called Hines.
And the Police Service Commission deferred him to Hines and the Ministry of National Security.
But when he called Hines, Hines made sure and protected himself. So that is why Hines had to make sure that the permanent secretary was sitting down there, and everybody was sitting down there. Oh, yeah, listen, look, Gary calling me. Listen to it so I could get my advice from each one of you all, because everybody was most present at that particular time. So he made sure he covered all the tracks. The man did not lie. It is Gary who was lying to the public by saying that the minister tell him, you know, when the minister never tell him what he was saying. The minister could have only instructed him as the employer that
your leave is not up, don't come out until
simple. Yeah. And again, I will put it and I will say it again.
Where you ever see somebody on leave and they go back out?
Anytime somebody on leave and they want to come into an office, especially if they are accountants, they are managers or senior personnel, and they want to come into an office, watch them. Watch them, because at the end of the day, they have something that they hide in. They may be involved in some kind of fraud. I'm not saying yet, but they may be involved in some kind of corrupted or fraudulent activity. Because you can't be on holidays.
Hi, Brent.
You can't be on holidays.
Hi, Storm.
And you running from your holidays to come back in the office.
And just imagine you working assiduously for the last 3 years.
Yes.
You would be glad that you're
10 years come 10 years.
And then for you to get a little
you get your gratuity.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
You get a little gratuity.
Yeah.
And you get a little time for family and whatever the case may be.
Well,
right?
Yeah, that's if you have time for that. But go ahead. Well, go ahead. I just...
By the way, when Nicole, she outside?
I don't know, you know. I don't know, because he said he went to New York. I don't know where he went to New York for, but... but I know the mighty business. But... Sarah.
Whatever will be, will be. Oh God, hey, this makes me too.
But I hope Santa brings babies.
Yeah.
and and lots of presents.
Hey, that's me too bad, yes.
But I know.
Santa let's bring babies.
Yeah, Santa let's bring babies. But
oh my God. Hey, all that not easy, nah? Hey, let's think too bad.
But let me hear one thing.
Sarah.
But
hey, it's sweet.
But I hope that your son get tried again.
You cry. You crying? Hey, let me continue,
But I really hope that I know his son is trying to get back on some football team, but I hope he really gets that opportunity to get back there someday. But tomorrow, the political rally is now in full swing now. They're preparing for election. And this is where it gets more interesting now. Now, Philip E. Boy, no, let me rephrase that because they could go and say, oh,
yeah, E-boy mean, yeah, something,
something going on between them. But
yeah.
let me put it in the local parlance so that we clear on it. Now, Philip Alexander, his former advisor and now friend from long time.
Friend, you mean?
Well, he's friend, is now hosting a petition rally. And they have launched they're looking to launch again part 2 of their political career. So they are hoping to gather up this support and gather up this mass support for Gary Griffith, using that to catapult their political arena. Now, just bear this in mind, Trinidad and Tobago. THA is coming. And who is looking to join? Because they want to form a force. They want to join up with a force. And they are saying that they want, most likely we will see the PDP, Philip Alexander. Don't be surprised we see Ishmael. You know, the Avenger crew, and all of them coming together to form this political unified force, using Gary as the means to get into office. Because on some social websites, they have already started pushing the narrative, Gary for Prime Minister.
Yeah.
So be careful of what you're hearing from these political opportunists, these political beggars, these political hustlers, these political homeless people who can't find a proper home in the political arena to fight the bacchanal. Be very careful of them. So here it is, because the way how Gary is carrying on, he is pushing his political narratives, and he is trying to bring down, lower the esteem of a minister to talk about, but what a little child can understand this thing. What kind of behavior is that? And who you want to come and work with after? So what you're putting in your mind is that you don't create a bacchanal.
You could disrespect the Minister of National Security, who is your boss.
You could disrespect the media, you could disrespect the everybody, and feel like it bully away.
And frighten everybody, intimidate them.
But let me tell you something. It all stops here today.
That's correct.
It all stops here today. And if nobody didn't want to tell you, Gary, we will tell you. There's no more chair. In fact, we have to design one for you. Special. We have a special chair for you.
There was an article on the papers today. You have it on your WhatsApp?
Which one?
Somebody wrote an article, Gary unfit
for
office or something like that. Can we share it with the it's not long. You have it?
Just now, let me get it.
Can we share it and let them hear what was said in the article?
Let me get it.
See if I had sent it for you.
Alright, which one? The X. This one. No, it's today. No, you didn't send it. No, you didn't send it to me.
Google it.
That is which one?
Unfit for office, Gary unfit for office, and see if it will come up.
Alright.
We need to share this with you all.
Oh yes, I remember that.
Our trend of thought that was mentioned here on this live a couple days ago, it would seem that someone also, has the same trend of thought.
I wonder if this is it. No, Trump unfit for office.
No, Trump unfit for office. No, try Gary. Unfit for office.
Bear with us.
That's it?
I think there's it.
Yeah, there's it.
Alright.
Why it's not opening? See if it
open?
open. I'll read it for you.
Hmm? You don't want to open? Yes, no, let me see. Opinion, this one, eh?
Opinion, no. Johnson is unfit. No, not Johnson.
Didn't open it at all, boy. Where's that one?
I guess we won't talk by the time.
But,
Chat with the people by the time.
yeah, but when you look at it, it opening. So, when you look at it, when you have people behaving in a particular manner, we have to be careful. The chair of the police commissioner, opening link. Oh, okay. The chair of the police, the office of the police commissioner. No, you're putting wrong. Just one. Go ahead. I will take it for you.
I don't know what you was going to say. Yes, so as we were saying, this whole situation, when you really put the pieces of the puzzle together, it would appear that this whole thing was premeditated. Even infiltrating someone on the Police Service Commission board, to my mind. Right?
Look at here.
Right.
Look at here.
Right.
Look at this.
Okay, so this article is on the Daily Express, unfit for public office, and it goes like this. If Gary Griffiths, the local version of Donald Trump, I get that impression since his ramblings are so similar to Donald Trump, where in this case he seems to feel he owns the position of Commissioner of Police and finds it hard, based on his utterances, to accept that the process for the appointment of a commissioner is not yet complete. Also, his ridiculous rants about having topped the selection process on the last occasion, etc. Those are certainly the words one would expect of a megalomaniac. As former Commissioner Stephen Williams put it recently, it is all about him. So true. Griffith thoughts that he is the only commissioner to have done this, that, or the other. But on the subject of issues relating to firearm users' license, he needs to check the information on why, around 1961, Assistant Police Commissioner Valentine Gilbert Lashley was dismissed from the police service, as it was called then. He might learn a lesson there. Gary's behavior while in office, including his disrespect for others, including the Prime Minister, should disqualify him from being ever appointed to any position in the police service or elsewhere for that matter. He proved very early into this tenure that he is unfit for public office, especially for the office of police commissioner. Also, he seems to have forgotten his fate will lie in the hands of the members of the government, should his name get to the parliament for ratification for the position of commissioner. I feel certain he will get the shock of his life then. At that time, he will face the reality of the saying that the longest rope has an end. Clyde Alfonso via email. Short and
Sweet.
But what you learned, what you pulled out or learned from this, something that stood out to me was when he spoke about former commissioner in the 60s, Assistant Police Commissioner Gilbert Lashley. He was dismissed from the police force, as it was called then, and he mentioned about the subject of the issue relating to the firearm users license. So it would appear that history is repeating itself in a sort of way.
But Juliet, when you look at the individual too, when you look at the individual, if you check back on Randolph Burroughs' behavior and you check on Gary Griffith's behavior, there's a similarity. And people was showing that. People were showing you that.
I mentioned it on a live. Will Barrett mentioned it on a live.
A number of people would have showed you and put the evidence out there. Look how this man behaving. But yet still, you will still have those who believe in the killer. I'm not talking about Gary Griffith here now. You have those who believe in the killer more than the man who is doing good in the society. So, and let me tell you something. Just check out the man in the community sometimes who will rub around, make all the noise. You know, he is the well-respected person.
Well-respected, well-loved.
Well-loved. And the man who is doing the positive work without even mentioning, making no noise or nothing, he is like treated like the less of the dogs in this society. People, when we come here and we come to inform and educate you on what is happening, especially in this particular situation, in which you will have people trying to say a constitutional crisis and our government can be toppled over and our government. Let me tell you something. You know what I was proud of Dr. Rowley for today? At no time did Dr. Rowley lose his school and behave like how Gary Griffith behaves. And he's the Prime Minister. He could have got back with him.
And he's the head of national
And he's the head of national security. But you know what Dr. Rowley did? He said, hey, I am bigger than that. I am more experienced than you. We give you opportunity to bring about change that you say you wanted to bring about in this country.
Dr. Rowley get licks from
and he get licks.
So Gary Griffith. And he coming back again and he getting licks again because people are saying that they tell the government don't hire Gary, and they still went and hire Gary.
And what Dr. Rowley did, Dr. Rowley showed you all that you could put aside
he's a bigger man.
Differences.
He's a bigger man, yes, he is.
He did that. Wait is what you really want in this country. Because people are saying, think that he gave the man a chance. He played a lotto. He played the lotto. He said, let me give him a chance. Let me see if he will do what he say he will do. And all you chastising this one, chastising that one, after a man get a chance and he blow the chance. You can't vex with somebody.
And look how unfortunate it is at Devon. I'm happy that you said that. Dr. Rowley would have taken blows for supporting the selection of Gary Griffith.
Yes.
Right? And against all odds.
Yeah.
You know, now that this happens, you know, they're coming back and blaming Dr. Rowley again. They're not saying Gary, like what you're saying. Gary was given a chance by Dr. Rowley and he squandered it.
Yeah, he squandered it.
They're not saying that, you know. The Maritime Parish ain't saying that, you know. The Maritime Parish ain't saying that they watch Gary Griffith go down a slippery slope because he motor mouth. They watch him, the 80% that Gary boasting about. That they never tell Gary, Gary, take it easy. They aided and abetted. You actually hear people putting up comments on social media. They better think Gary because they know Gary ain't easy, you know, Gary go come for them. So people was actually aiding and abetting and encouraging and supporting Gary to bury himself. Gary bury himself, and today these people who wasn't supporting Dr. Rowley, even the opposition, now coming to twist the narrative, and rather than tell Gary Griffith, you muck up. Gary, you muck up. You make a mess of the situation. They rather turn their guns still to Dr. Rowley.
And
That is how sad we is as a people.
and that is the kind of governance that they want in this
They want, that's what they want.
That's the kind of governance they want. Cost them. Do them what they want. Don't treat them like humans, you know. Don't treat them like humans. Yeah, because that is what the opposition is trying to tell you. He could do what he want. Just don't move him.
You can say what you want.
And you know, it has really hurt me to see the level at which they are trying to make people believe as though one is a god and one did this man something wrong. Rowley did, Dr. Rowley
Dr.
did.
Rowley and PNM did Gary Griffith no wrong. They did him no wrong.
What they in fact did is show the political, the political
They show that as a party and as a government,
In power.
they could put away political differences to bring the best outcome for Trinidad and Tobago.
And that
And
is
they
what he
believe
did.
that Gary would have been the best outcome to help solve crime, and so they choose Gary Griffith.
because he sell them the dream. He sell them a dream.
Yeah, he's a dream man.
And when he sold them that dream, they decided, well, okay, well, we will give him a chance. Bring it before the parliament. Because he didn't win bronze, eh? He didn't even come bronze.
He ain't coming in the 1, 2, 3.
No, he come in the 1, 2, 3, he come number 4.
Yeah.
And they give him the chance. Imagine that. You know it is for a child to place first in test, and the teacher come and give the prize
To the
person
child who
come
plays
last.
fourth, who plays fourth. Yeah.
Not even third, you know. Last, you know. And to see how people want to reward people for
Well said,
bad
Devon.
behavior.
Well said,
in
Devon.
this country.
Well said.
Something has to be wrong.
With a society like that.
Something has to
What
be
comes
wrong.
to mind? Banana Republic. Shithole country. Trinidad is not a real place.
Yeah, that's what it's telling, you know. That's what it's telling, but they're still here. They're still here. They want you to leave so that they could benefit and raid the treasury. And that's what they want.
No,
Because-
they want to maintain the status quo of Banana Republic. They want to maintain the status quo of shithole country, and they want to maintain the status quo of Trinidad is not a real place. But Trinidad is a real place. We are not a shithole country,
No.
and we are not a Banana Republic.
No.
It's just that the people in this country like to support mediocre and mediocrity.
And that is the problem.
And that is the problem, and double standards and hypocrisy.
That is the problem. Because let me tell you something. To hear Annie Roberts talking and supporting Gary Griffith, I just had to say, wait now. But we still have a man who all this money was under his control. Just one man get 34, the next one get 92, and next one get this.
And I know the
and
man
who
passed
take
away.
money?
And I know the man passed away with 34 million.
34 million
And the
dollars.
34 million was inherited by some family member, whatever the case
You
may be.
understand?
So that come like dead money right now.
And we still talking.
And we still listening to people like
And
Annie Roberts and
listening
them, boy.
to them fellas and them.
Yeah.
I wasn't even talking about these fellas and them. Because to me, I was looking to put together a nice cell block in St. Anne's with numbers 0, 0 down to hell. That is the cell block I gave them in a cool, nice dungeon. They can't see nobody. Because that is what, you know, it is mind-boggling, you know.
Real mind-boggling with the people in this country, boy. Real
Munila
mind-boggling.
on a platform talking about plot and this and that. And Munila them have no authority. Munila have no a man like he have no authority. Because at the end of the day, when you watch Munila's character, he have questions to answer before the court. And while you're listening to that kind of gubar and garbage over for Joy Hines, the Minister of National Security, and because sometimes I doesn't want to go down that road, you know. But we celebrating Republic Day tomorrow. And Republic Day means the people must get involved. If we is the people of this country to build this country and carry it forward, We cannot carry the country forward
With backwardness.
with backward thinking and a bunch of criminals who want to be talking and purporting themselves as politicians in this country over people who have not interfered with the treasury. Tell me one corruption that you all have heard
Under
under Dr. Rowley. Tell me one. They can't tell you.
They will say AV oil drilling. They will say petrotrin.
Well, if they want to talk about that, we can tell them about them thing, you know. But you know what? Just ask Roger why Anand supermarket in Faizabad. Just ask him that. And if he can answer that, and tell him what might happen to Paramount building in San Fernando.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we celebrating Republic Day tomorrow, and people must understand what Republic Day means. We are no longer under a queen. We no longer under no British control. We now ruling, we leading ourselves, we developing ourselves. We are in much better situation than what they're trying to say we are a shithole. Well, let me tell you something. We are like a first world country because you're getting first world things here that you can't get outside. And that's why them fellas and them taking advantage of the situation in Trinidad and Tobago. 1 billion dollars on a wastewater treatment plant. And who benefit? They overprice it for them, each one of them to benefit, because they tell themselves after 5 years we will still have money to fight the election and we will have more money. And that's what people in this country want. So when I hear them talking about Gary, and Gary, and Gary, and Gary, and Gary, and Gary, and Gary, I just say, but
it's sad because there's a saying. Because there's a saying that misery likes company, and it's really unfortunate that Gary Griffith would have come from the background of Pandey, Kamla, almost as, you know,
he went
to say, you know, he come with baggage, and you would have been given this beautiful opportunity, and you would have wasted it, you know, in the manner that you wasted it because your ego too big. There's no way. I don't care what nobody tell me. I don't care how dense you are, how bright you are. Nobody cannot tell me that Gary Griffith's behavior over the last 3 years is fitting for the office that he holds.
It's not fitting at all. It's not fitting at all.
And I don't know what kind of relationship he had with his wife, but if he was my husband, I would have told him. He had to tone it down.
Of course.
He wanted to disrespect the head of the country, which is the Prime Minister. He was on, what you know, I think it was something, and they asked you how to spell Dwen. You spell Palm. Come on. You want to tell women the breasts big and the bottom flat, the face square and the ugly, the nice, they can't get a man. Come on, what is that? What is that? Why all those things are being pushed aside? Why all those things are being pushed aside? And we just want to focus on himself. Come on, himself crime, which to me mean see no crime solved nowhere.
I still looking for the crime. Because look, crime still going on.
It's still going on.
And McDonald Jacobs going on the taxi stand and removing all the PH drivers and cleaning it up. You're still seeing police on the road directing the traffic. You're still seeing the bike officers and them on the highways trying to stop these mad people, and them who will be flying on the highway every evening and during the daytime, like if they're speeding and the country open back up. You're still seeing McDonald Jacobs. You're still seeing Roger Alexander. You are seeing the real police. The real police. Not the cartoon ones. So if you're looking for Gary Griffith, there's Officer Dibbles. You can call him. You can call 62 Dibbles.
Yes, yes, yes.
And he may answer. If you want to go to SpongeBob, you can call SpongeBob.
I know this came with Gary. Gary is not a lawyer. But whoever just be fooling Gary, everything's... Gary does just come and parrot. Oh, Heinz can't tell me that I'm not a, he's a civilian. I can't tell me he's a civilian. If my baby know that section so and so and so and so, somebody full in the head with a sort of legal jargons and legal sections of the law.
I said a legal arsenal.
Yeah. And then he come in and I was
he vegetated the shit.
Let me tell you something, eh? The worst thing is a man who just hearing himself and he wouldn't stop.
No.
Because all he's doing is just hearing himself. And watch now. The media, Gary's so dotish. The media, he just getting media news. The media just sitting down and waiting. Just now Gary go come here, we waiting. Gary go come to get a headline. And they're just waiting because Gary going and look to come to say something and they will get a headline. And Gary go feel good about himself. His name was plastered big on the on the newspaper.
And he feel good.
And he hear himself. He hear himself. Real stupid.
But Juliet, you know, sometimes I just wonder about what is going on in the home. I just really wonder.
Boy.
Because if you're misbehaving so in public,
I just wonder about that
and carry on so in the public domain. One doesn't have to ask themselves the question, when he go home and he's sleeping, if he is talking, he's sleep. Well, you could be right because let me tell you something, eh? He's a motor mouth. So it's no wonder that tomorrow they're having a motorcade for him because motor mouth equals motorcade. Yeah, so I'll go and keep all the motorcade for Gary Griffith tomorrow and blow all the horn and do whatever it is what I want to do. But I know for a fact tomorrow there's going to be high police on the road.
Presence, yes.
So all the bike men and them will be waiting and they'll be riding through the traffic, and as soon as you blow in your horn, for no reason, just expect to be given a ticket, because I realize some people love to give away money, but they complaining that they have no money. But we have money because they're going to give away money. Tomorrow with the foolishness, and I tell you that sort of jackassness that they're doing. When you really watch Philip and you watch Gary, they don't look like brothers?
Yeah.
They just look like brothers.
They look like brothers.
So when they look like brothers, just remember they just think alike, eh? They just think alike. And when they think alike, just imagine these two. Well, I don't want to call them no name because
wait now. Wait. You're funny, right, you know? And we go down close off, eh? Trinidad and Tobago, seriously, eh? Our history, we have seen parties coming together to couple the
government,
the PNM, not just the government, but the PNM, because the PNM is a force to be reckoned with. They can say what they want, right? But it would appear that they will have to do the same thing soon.
They will do that.
Because about 19 parties went up against the PNM in the last general election, you know?
Yes.
Opposition forces, you know?
Yes.
And all of them get their ass cut. But Gary's disrespect equals Philip Alexander's disrespect. So maybe they are not maternal brothers, but in terms of their language and the style and the tone, they are brothers.
They are brothers.
They are brothers. So could you imagine, for political purposes, Gary and Philip teaming up?
The pinky and the brain. Just imagine the pinky meeting the brain. What kind of, you know?
Trinidad and Tobago, look. 82 persons, but we have to go by the time. 9:14.
Enjoy your holiday tomorrow.
Devon?
I will be out on the road tomorrow. I will be on the ground tomorrow in Port of Spain because I'm waiting to see Madman 1 and Madman 2 and the Avengers coming in. So I will be on the ground tomorrow in downtown.
Oh, the
Forest Lane.
Avengers, Gary, Inshan, and Philip. It was 4 of them, Ian Allen. Yeah.
I'm not seeing Mark at all.
Who's Mark?
The bossant. I'm not seeing the bossant at all. He like he gone cold. So I hope to see Kim Cole there tomorrow. And the Bart Alexanders. You see? Alexander again, you know. I wonder if she related to Philip Alexander. So
or the next Alexander.
Which one?
Beyond the Tape.
Oh yes. So there's so many. So no, Beyond the Tape. Before you go, I had this joke to tell you, you know. Don't be surprised when you see Roger Alexander in downtown Forest Lane tomorrow.
Locking up?
And locking up the civilian. And he's saying, just like how Ian Allen was saying, oh God, Roger Alexander, what's this? What's this, Roger? Roger, what's this? What's this? Look, man, you're on arrest, come here. People,
wait now, somebody tell me today if I listen to, you was with me when the bus was telling me, if I listened to Alexander last night.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't listen to Alexander.
No, I don't listen to him.
Right. But the person said Alexander already started lead on a McDonald's side. He done spit out Gary because you know what? He done realize already what was going on.
You was a civilian. You were and let me tell you, it's Roger Alexander who just called them toy police. Eh?
Yes. For real. Hey, that's very sweet, yes?
So, what do you think?
What now? Hey. Comedy is a comedy.
Hey, yeah. If it's one thing I just love in this country.
Never dull moment.
Never
dull moment, yes.
Never dull moment.
Close up Devon, you know how to go and prepare for my
let me tell you, you see next week,
God's willing.
no, in fact, I think Sunday we had to hit them, what's
so we doing nothing tomorrow?
Yeah, we might do something tomorrow for Gary. He final rights. We had to send him off into the wilderness. But Sunday, we had to touch on Watson too. Because apparently his name was on a list. His name is on a list. And up to now nobody can see his resume in Wassa. But there's this plot to destabilize the water services in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
Because there's over 200 and something managers and 1,000 employees going, and the word on the ground is they're going to be shutting down the water supply. So we may have to bring out the soldiers. We may have to think, because let me tell you something. We are going to be on the ground watching and monitoring. In fact, I'm going to Marco when he come out of the house and when he going back in. So we will be there to watch him. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Folks, it was nice. Thanks for joining us. See you all tomorrow, God's willing. As we said, we're going to keep it right here until the 27th of September, when the judge will
say whether or not make a ruling on the matter.
Yes. Right, so keep it locked, and who knows, we might end up to be a team and continue this.
You never know.
You never know. Because it make me laugh, and I like that too. Folks, love you. See you. Bye.